Really hoping that the fight gods don't take this fight away from us because, of course, Jamie Mullarkey's good buddy Alexander Volkanovski was originally supposed to be in our co-main event against Brian Ortega. He's off the card. His good buddy out of City Kickboxing, Shane Young, is also off the card, who's supposed to be taking on Omar Morales. Now that one, again, cross your fingers, maybe we still get the fight. But for Jamie Mullarkey, doesn't train out of City Kickboxing. He's out of, and I tossed it down, Central Coast MMA. Ross Pearson, a coach at that gym. Volkanovski spends time between the two with Central Coast and City. And that's why I just worry about Jamie Mullarkey. And it's weird because there's so many ties that run deep. Mullarkey, of course, out of Central Coast in his UFC debut takes on City Kickboxing's Brad Riddell. And in that fight, it was a good one. Wow. It was actually a fight of the night. And if you go back and look at the judges' scores, 29-27, 30-26, 30-26. You don't often see a fight in the night that's one-sided like that. But it was a good fight. Mullarkey was able to land a few takedowns. Riddell's takedown defense is pretty good. And once he gets to the mat, he usually pops right back up. So that one, it was an interesting fight. And then if you go back and you look at Jamie Mullarkey's last time out, it wasn't that long ago that we saw him. It was about 4 months ago against Fares Ziam, France's own. He lost the decision in that one, but again, he worked in a lot of the takedowns, and for Ziam, very, very good kickboxer. Taking on a totally different fighter right now in the Deathstar, Khama Worthy. And Matt, we have to say this, and we have to be honest. Took Khama Worthy to beat Otman Azaitar. Super wrong in that one. And the thing for Khama Worthy, you look at all of the losses, they're all by finish, all 7 of them. He's been submitted once, he's been knocked out or TKO'd 6 times. You don't love to see it. That was the first one against Azaitar that was back up at 155. He had a great run at 45. Not so much in the regional scene, but it was what it was. Hadn't been finished at 55. And then he comes up and he loses to Azaitar and gets outboxed, and it wasn't great to see. So, new matchup for both guys. Totally different clash of styles. For Khama Worthy, you know exactly what you're going to get. A lot of explosive movements out in front. For Jamie Mullarkey, a lot of defensive movements, I would say. A lot of takedowns. He plays it a little bit safe. He can get into those striking wars, but he's more of a safe fighter. So, for me, it is an interesting fight. What are you thinking here?
This should be a fun fight, but again, this fight really comes down to, can Mullarkey take down Khama Worthy? Because if he just stands, listen, I get it, Otman Azaitar knocked him out, and he didn't look that good in that fight. He is a very good striker, though, and it is important when you bring up the fact that a lot of his finished losses are down at 145. I do think Khama Worthy is a great example of a fighter who, when they cut too much weight, that's when their chin does start to at least feel the effects from it. We've seen that a lot in the UFC. When guys move up in weight, they fight a more natural weight class. Robert Whittaker is a great example. Now, 185, he gets hit, and I guess he still goes down and just pops right back up. For Worthy in his last fight, he did look bad, but I do think you kind of have to take that fight out because Mullarkey doesn't fight at all like Otman Azaitar. You couldn't find a more polar opposite MMA fighter. Mullarkey, it's weird. You go back and look at that Riddell fight. He actually kind of rocks Riddell on the feet, and it's weird because you would never think that Jamie Mullarkey would be able to rock someone like Brad Riddell. But the fact that the takedown is such a threat when you're fighting Mullarkey, it will open up some shots for him. He's not a terrible striker. He does strike in sort of a stiff manner, if you will, where he doesn't have this fluidity like a guy like Adesanya has, but he does go out there and he knows what he's good at. And I think that's a really important thing. Like, I wouldn't want Danny Green on my basketball team anymore, I guess. When he was a Raptor, I was happy. But he just knows where to go and what to do. And I think that's important, and I think Mullarkey is an example of that. He knows what to do at which stage of the fight. I think he's got better cardio than Khama Worthy as well. And if he is able to get these takedowns early, I do think Jamie Mullarkey has a somewhat basic path to victory. But again, you're going to have to go out there and take down Worthy, who does have decent takedown defense, and you're going to be eating bombs on your way in. And that's the thing for Worthy. Not only does he have great power on the feet, he has great defensive strikes to defend against takedowns. We talk about the elbows like Travis Brown knees and whatnot. Worthy's just a really wonky striker, and I'll be honest, I've never had the best read on his career. It seems like every time he's won the UFC, I picked him to lose, and every time he's lost, I picked him to win. So I'll just let that out right now. I think this is a tough stylistic matchup for Mullarkey. I really do. We've seen him in there with other guys who have big power, good volume, and good hand speed. All those things Khama Worthy has, and he does eat too many shots. And for me, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Jamie Mullarkey eats punches like they're going out of style. Like he's never going to get another one thrown at him. And it's very concerning when you're fighting a guy who's got big power like Khama Worthy.
Let's bring these numbers up, Matt. In the Fares Ziam fight, 3:29:28, he went 5-11 on his takedown attempts, and he had 6 minutes and 56 seconds of control time. You like that. Good leg kicks, too, and he is a good leg kicker. You need to know that. Khama Worthy switches it up with the footwork, though, so listen, will the leg kicks take a big effect? They might. I mean, Khama Worthy has very skinny legs, so do I. If you look at the fight that he had against Brad Riddell, again, a fight of the night, But the troubling stat, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt again, because Jamie Mullarkey's only been in there for 2, and he lost them both. For Khama, he's been in there for 3. One of them was really short. Well, actually, 3 of them were pretty short. But if you look at it overall, the strike differential, 1.87 given to 4.6 taken for Jamie Mullarkey. And if you look at it the other way, 4.12 to 3.69. A positive differential for Worthy, small sample size. A negative and a big negative for Mullarkey, small sample size, who's also been finished by Alexander Volkanovski. Great to see that they've kissed and made up. For me, again, you look at the odds on this one. Mullarkey open to plus 165. He's now plus 109. So the money's coming in on Mullarkey. If you look at Worthy, open to minus 190. He's now minus 134. And if you have a look at the total Topology votes, Matt, 1,141 of them, 87% Worthy, 71% by knockout. That's wild.
That's a crazy percentage split. It really is. And I don't know if he will be able to TKO Mullarkey because you see him in there with big power guys. Again, I think Brad Riddell probably hits harder than Khama Worthy, and he wasn't able to TKO Mullarkey, but it has been a lot of damage in only 2 UFC fights. I do expect Khama Worthy to get the win. I won't say easily because I do think that there is somewhat of a game plan for Mullarkey to win if he's able to go out there and really implement his wrestling, but if this fight's on the feet for any period of time, Mullarkey's in a lot of danger.
I've got Worthy as well. Again, if Mullarkey's going straight takedown, there's a lot of shots up the middle for Worthy. I really think Worthy also has an underappreciated ground game as well. So I will side with the American here. Both of us going with the Deathstar, Khama Worthy to get the win. It should be a great fight. Really interesting stylistic matchup. And in our main event, a rematch between Stipe Miocic and the man himself, the Predator, Francis Ngannou. So keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt. As we always say, let's get into it.